Thank you very much, guys, for coming to speak to us on this business world and mindset podcast. It was quite a good conversation I had with James and understanding everything that you guys are doing. So I thought it would be a good idea to bring you on the podcast just to, generally discuss, the projects that you're doing, and also just to understand a bit of your background as well, where you come from up to here, in a way that sort of gets to inspire some of our audience as well, to get them engaged in various things that they are doing in their different ways. So I thought initially we'll probably begin by just starting off by if you could give us a bit of a background of yourselves in terms of humble beginnings, your how you started, whether it's growing up, family, education up to here, as a sort of your journey to here, which most of our listeners tends to relate to and in understanding people and where they've come from, so that they get to feel that if some of these guests have actually gotten to here, maybe there is also a bit of hope for us. So we just begin it that way. Maybe we start with you, Ghazala. Take us through your journey, and then we'll pick it up as we go along. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. All right. First of all, well, thank you, Alex, for having Jorgen and I on your show. So delighted to be here. So if I just give you my little humble beginnings are, Ghazala Jabeen, I was born in Pakistan. So my story really is living an oil-lit lantern village life and arriving in London, which looked like Blackpool with all the lights. So for a young 6.5-year-old kid, that was like a big adventure. So really, I didn't speak a word of English when I arrived in the country. And although I was 6.5 when I arrived, I didn't actually string 3 words to an English sentence till I was 10, because I was slowly weaned into school system. And then basically, my life was very much of the kind of journey of the Eastern to Western transitions, if you like, and a culture shock, and lots of learning along the way is why am I brown and why is everybody white, kind of question mark for a youngster, kind of thinking, where am I? Kind of a little bit of an alien world. But anyway, my dad, as a teacher, we were taught Arabic and Urdu back at home, but English studies were in normal schooling. And I soon kind of found that I like studying, I like learning, I like the whole world of books and things, and I wanted to continue. But as a female coming from a Muslim country, there was quite a lot of the challenges in my journey, because girls were not really allowed to really get out there and study and to be something. They were supposed to be somebody's daughter, somebody's mother, somebody's sister, and it was supposed to be to keep you in the limitations of your world. The only thing is that I was too feisty for all that, and I kind of had to fight for my education. And really, I was in my secondary school, I actually fought for my right to be who I am, and found a little voice that I had that was quite strong and quite empowering, actually, for me to realize. So I was the only girl, a Muslim girl, Asian girl, in the whole of my secondary school to really break barriers of speaking up, out of turn, out of what you're not supposed to do. And I did. And said, I'm not going to do this, I'm going to do this. And that created quite a community kind of chaos. And my dad was like, oh dear, our daughter's kind of stepping up, is causing a little bit community problems here. But it allowed me to realize that I had the power to speak. I had the strength in me. And as a little person, there was a big voice dying to get out. So my studying continued. I mean, I'm cutting this quite short as well, but my studying continued from somebody who was not allowed to open the front door of my home in case there was a man there, because we're supposed to be covered and kept out of the scene of the outside life. But no, my story journey is really from suppression to expression. So from a girl that couldn't speak a word of English to a girl that couldn't open the doors to be in a public society, and to have fought the journey and the education to be a female international speaker across the world's different stages, online, offline. That was breaking a lot of barriers. I mean, we know about Breaking Bad, but I'm doing all the breaking barriers in there. So yes, the biggest challenge I had was really that when you're open and exposed to the Western world, you don't look at anybody any different other than one heart to another. We don't really then get into that they're white and we're brown. It was very much of we are one. And of course, I embraced everybody as equal until I created a big problem in my life, which was that I fell in love with an Englishman, and that was taboo. That was not what you do. And that was like really risking my life at this point, which was the biggest story of my life. Was if you were to ask me, Alex, what's the most dangerous thing you've ever done? I put my life on the line to say, yes, I'm in love with an Englishman, and then wait for the neck to be taken off. So that was the biggest strength of my life, realizing that death did not no longer scare me. That did not scare me any longer, because I was ready to do that. And then after that, yes, I did marry the man. I eloped. I got into the whole world of Western society, and my beloved Martin, who I was married to, ran away with. Sadly, he passed away with pancreatic cancer. Wow. But one of the things he did help me in my growth of being who I am today is saying to me, you're an equal. You stand with any man anywhere in the world on any stage, and I will be your biggest cheerleader and to support whatever you want, wherever you are. So he was a great mentor with wisdom, education, support, and never restricted me to be a voice. In fact, totally opened the space to be that. That allowed me to grow into the woman that I am today, from my good parents' upbringing, from being a great partner in that way, and also as a mum, to make sure that my children are not restricted in their life, that they can be who they want to be, where they want to be, how big they want to be, whatever they want to be. And that was my kind of journey. But as I say, I lost Martin to pancreatic cancer. It'll be 7 years this year. And then for me, having been a person that allowed my cultural side to come into the business world, is my background has been in finance, in business growth, in property. I never knew about it. At 21 years of age, I was the director of a company that was like, oh my God, this is a whole big world. I don't know what to do with it. My background has been in, as I say, at 21 years of age, taking the position as a director, doing property valuations big time. Like in the Manchester, we owned the largest estate agent, and the residential letting side, commercial side, financial side, tied into the biggest infrastructure of growth of Manchester City's development, university students. And a lot of my life was based in that world of work, and I really stepped up to that. And from there, really, I took a bit of time out to have children and continued in other ways. But then I realized that after having children was to get back into the world of work as a mum, back in there. It meant I had to go through all the studying to be getting more qualifications, this, that, and the other. And I was like, can I really sit with all that again? I'm not sure. So I saw that my local jobs in the area were low jobs. And I was used to high income. Even at that time, I couldn't do the low jobs. I was like, these people, what they putting in the adverts for a job per year is I was earning per month. So I couldn't really find that kind of job as like they was not attracting me. The adverts were not attracting me to say, oh my God, I'm going to earn this. Yeah. So anyway, I looked at direct sales, and I thought, I don't know anything about direct sales, but the income looks good, what I can earn. And I took that role like duck to water. And literally I got myself in a 6-figure income earner pretty straight away with it. And but the only thing is in direct sales is I didn't like being told what to do by the organization. I'm a girl that's like, leave me to do what I'm good at. don't dictate too much to me. And anyway, so I'm not very employable anyway. I am very much of a free spirit to do what I do. And so with that, I decided to kind of sack that job, and like, I don't need it. But what I did know was that in the marketplace, you need to find a solution and a need that's out there for people where the problem is. So when I could identify that actually this, what I'm doing, I can do better than this company, but I can do it even better and make it very unique. So I went into my headspace of, I scratched a doodle, I went into manufacturing, I produced a product, and I took it to the marketplace, and then I was rocking with that. I mean, Martin used to say to me, this is a big thing for you, right? Are you sure you know what you're doing? Even when we went to the bank and we put the figures to the bank of the business projections, and the bank manager said to me, these figures look pretty good. Like, how have you got these figures? I said, well, I did not pluck them out of thin air. Yeah. What these figures are is really hard facts figures that I've created. So the ones you're looking at are quite conservative, but I know we can do a lot better. In 6 months, we exceeded the projections already because they were like very impressed. So that kind of took the whole turn from being in business yourself and the government of my country supporting manufacturing processes and development. And then, of course, tragedy hit, as I say, with Martin got ill, and the business side, he was directly involved with the logistics and everything. And suddenly he was dying. And so the whole part of that world of mine kind of started to crash bang around me. And these are the things that in life we go through, the highs and lows. You do a great thing, you find your way, you suddenly rocking, and then suddenly one day something changes, and then how do you adjust? So this was the adjustment which I made. I took time out with that side of it. We closed that side of the business. I started to teach fitness in my Bollywood style, which got my title, how I transitioned myself. And really, when doing something, you have to be a role model of what you're preaching. And for me was that I can't teach fitness if I ain't being fit myself. So I went into my own program, clinically obese, BMI over 29, created my program, went to a size 8 and 10, created that information with 3 friends, and that took that over to 30,000 people on that teaching in a fitness platform that really got a national and then international status. And then it just became bigger. And then before you know it, you're recognized for work you've done. You're recognized with direct sales, network marketing industry, your local community projects. And then I was awarded for community projects, which was raising money for giving back. My dad always said, when making something good happen and you're doing good, give good back. And those were really good grounding things that we had in our upbringing. And so raised over £150,000, and the TV program Dragon's Den that we know of it in the UK, the First Lady Dragon actually awarded me and my business for giving at that time was £80,000 back in my local communities, which now has exceeded about 180,000. And that was about, what do we do for our community? What do we do for our community? How do we give what we learned and our goodness back? And that part of it really took from, before I know it, it was one award to another, and the journey grew. And of course, my focus was to get my head down and get working. And then everybody kept saying, you've been on your own as a widow. Are you not really looking to date again? And I'm like, that door's not happening. Just not happening. Sorry. And as many offers as were coming my way, I was like not playing in that space at all for anything, because my heart was not there. And I had written my book, Loved, Lived, Lost, in memory and tribute to Martin for pancreatic cancer, being a voice. And that was my part of a closure from the grief, the hurt, that I needed to know I've got to move on in my life. And I took a whole team of people up to Mount Snowdon and really to get that message across. But it was my closure. I needed to create some closure in a part of my hurtful space so that I can breathe again and live again. And so I suddenly got a message from a chap called Jorgen Tranberg who said, hi, you don't know me, but I've read your book. I know about your work and la-da-da-da-da. And I was like, okay. So I found myself talking to this man who had a very gentleman way and a brilliant approach and acknowledgement of my work and an acknowledgement to communicate with me. And I was like, I don't know who you are, but I was talking away. I suddenly found there was a lot of things in common. But what was interesting about Jorgen was that everything that in my list of values that I look for and qualities in a person, he was ticking a lot of things, but I didn't want to tell him too much because I didn't want to seem too keen. It was like all I kept saying was, you know what, one day we're going to have to talk about this. And there are a lot of things that you're saying that really are resonating with me. And I said, what is it you do? Apart from him telling me about his background, and then he was telling me about this big project, my heart space, my head space was like, wow, which I'm going to let him tell you a bit about it. But he came on the radar. That's kind of where this is happening, but I'm going to not take it away from Jorgen from that. But that's how we got connected. And as a couple, the journey was we embraced each other in our lives personally, but we embraced his vision, his journey, his mission, and things that have become what they are now is like mind-blowing from that bit where I come from, Pakistan, to where I am today. And final thing, just as I hand it over to you, was yesterday, you don't really know what you do in your life really for anything other than you do it from the heart space of doing good. And I had an email yesterday to say that I was a recipient of an award for 100 of the successful women in business awards on a global scale. And I actually rang my mum and I said, Dad would have been so impressed at that award because he used to call me his VIP, and that doesn't mean a very important person, but for my dad, he was used to say, you're my very impressive Pakistani. He used to say this to me, and I was saying to my mom to thank her blessings and to thank them both that I had got a very good space of who I am in my upbringing, but also Dad championed me as he used to say, I wish you were my son, you'd carry my name in lights. And I'm like, what, can I not carry my own name in light? But as I have done, and really was an acknowledgement on a global scale. And I've had terrific support from that. But it's the journey. It's where we were, where we are, where we're going. And this man is the one that I've grabbed hold of his hand in life to take the adventure. And I'm now going to hand it back to you to pass it on. But that's me, Alex. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you very much for sharing that wonderful story. I think, even yourself, you would know there's a lot of probably young girls in Pakistan and other countries who probably face similar challenges to what you faced in terms of growing up in particular environments and communities. And they don't get some chances to actually express themselves and realize their potential in the way that you did because of the environment. So I guess just sort of taking you back a little bit in there. I mean, I saw in your work and what you do, you have this vision and passion to actually inspire other people or other girls to actually get to break through essentially into their abilities. But sometimes it's not that easy, like you've found through the challenges you've been through. But what would be your sort of advice, or how would you encourage and inspire those people as to what they can do to actually break through some of the challenges that they would be facing to realize their potential?